We're separating all the manure produced on the farm. We have two systems. One's a bedding recovery unit, and one creates manure solids for composting. The liquids go out to covered storage for land application at a later date. I'm Tim Fessenden, and my wife Rhonda and I operate Fessenden Dairy in King Ferry, New York. And we have a total herd size of roughly 850 cows, replacement and calf herd size of another 550 animals.
Fessenden Dairy uses a bedding recovery unit BRU system. The BRU system is designed to sustainably manage manure and provide safe, clean bedding for cattle.
You have a rotary drum in vessel composting system, which allows you to generate a compost generally in a shorter period of time than some of the other systems. Composting is an aerobic biochemical decomposition process.
Jeff Porter serves as technical advisor for Newtrient, an entity founded and supported by the dairy industry with a mission to reduce dairy's environmental footprint while making it economically viable to do so.
First off, let's look at what does aerobic mean. It means you have to have oxygen. You've got to have enough air in the system so you get the right bacteria. Number two, you need to have the proper carbon to nitrogen ratio. Also, you need to have moisture. You've got to have enough liquid moisture in the compost or in the material for the bacteria to utilize. If you look here, as I squeeze that, you can see I'm actually getting some liquid coming out of this manure. So this is a fairly high moisture content where I'm guessing we're probably around 65–70% moisture on this because we're getting quite a bit of liquid out. But you need about a 60% or right around that 60–65% to get a good quality compost started. And then the fourth component is temperature. You need to have a high enough temperature to get the right bacteria. Generally that's in between 130 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
The environmental, economic, and efficiency benefits it delivers are not insignificant, according to Porter.
So removing the solids, what that does, that gives you a benefit in your liquid material is that you can put that into some type of a storage unit, so a holding pond, a lagoon, something like that. And by reducing the amount of solids, you're actually reducing the amount of potential volatile organic compounds that are in the liquid.
BRU system technology generates a much drier organic material in a highly efficient, timely manner.
We're looking at less than 24 hours, which is the real beauty of this system, where you're generating temperatures up in the 150 to 170, maybe even a little bit higher temperatures. So you have taken care of basically making a pathogen-free material in less than 24 hours. Having a short turnaround time allows the material basically to go in, can be utilized almost immediately after it has come out of the in-vessel compost system. So it reduces the storage volume that's needed, and it also reduces the volume, overall volume, that you have to generate to use it as bedding material.
The BRU system really is great because what it does is it takes things that might be spread on the fields and then could wash off into the lake and reuses them on the farm.
Dr. Jackie Schnurr served as Dean of Faculty and Professor of Biology and Environmental Science at Wells College in Aurora, New York. She visited Fessenden Dairy through a Conservation Innovation Grant to get a first-hand look at Tim and Rhonda's system and run some tests to measure the impact.
What we did as part of the team was collect samples from the liquid manure pond inflow and then from basically the pond itself. And then they would collect samples from the composter pre-compost and post-compost. And what was interesting mainly to us was the biggest change in pathogens. What we found after the composting is that things that were bad to be used in bedding were now good. So they all passed all of their standards. One of the major problems that we've always been told about is just how much wastewater gets into the lakes. In order to stop harmful algal blooms, maintain water quality for a lot of the villages that use water from the lake, it's best to try to trap those kinds of nutrients here on the farm. So not only is it good for the farm, sustainability speaking, it's also good for the environment and the whole region.
Fessenden Dairy has been using the bedding recovery unit since 2005.
All the manure that's produced on the farm does go through one or the other of the systems, and it gives us a lot of flexibility in what happens with manure solids, whether it's for bedding, compost that we export off farm. Keeps our nutrient management plan pretty healthy, and that's very favorable. We are using manure solids that come through a bedding recovery unit for all the bedding on every pen on the farm. The motivation for using the bedding recovery unit was driven by the fact that it produced a material that was favorable for cow health, and we're able to achieve somatic cell counts well under 100,000 consistently, and cows are healthy and very productive and clean. One of the biggest things that people notice when they come into the buildings is how clean the cows are. So when it comes to applying the liquids fraction of the manure, that all goes out through a dragline system on the farm. And a dragline system, as most farms would know, is a very efficient way of applying the nutrients precisely to the acres that you have to apply. And by removing the solids from those liquids, it increases that efficiency significantly.
Fezzidan is happy with the system installed on his operation, but he also points out that it might not be for everyone.
It's not a plug and play, not a Roomba, so you gotta have that background knowledge that you can glean from other farms. It isn't something like buying a tractor and changing the oil once in a while. It's more than that, but you have to understand that it does run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If someone's looking to implement using bedding recovery unit material, I would suggest visiting as many operations as you can to see the different methods, how you can have one installed, the benefits, the drawbacks that other people have encountered, so that you don't have to make the same mistake twice.
As we're looking at composting, it's just one component of a system. And you have to look at what are the objectives for that particular operation. Does composting fit within the operation? Now, for this particular farm, what we're looking at today, composting serves a couple purposes. Number one, you're able to take some of the manure solids and use that as bedding for the animals. Another is that as you see here in this pile, this windrow, they're actually creating a product that they are able to sell to someone else, or they can use it on farm. The dairy needs to evaluate, does it actually fit within their goals and their objectives for their particular operation.
Questions about installing a bedding recovery unit system or other composting solution on your operation? Reach out to Newtrient to connect with an expert regarding key considerations each farm should know before selecting the right solution.